City of Romulus Planning Commission for Wednesday, excuse me, January 17th, 2024 is called to order. Everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 2 is roll call.
Okay, roll call. We'll start with Mr. Frederick,
Here.
Mr. Gladfelty,
Here.
Mr. McAnally,
Here.
Mr. Long.
Here.
I believe Ms. Roscoe is excused today. Ms. Jemison,
Here.
Mr. Crover,
Here.
Mr. Bobade is here, and Chairwoman Freitag.
Here. Item 3 is going to be approval of the agenda.
So move, Madam Chair. Second.
Before you take action on that, did you want to adjust some of those?
Oh, okay, I was going to do it after we did that, but I can go ahead and do it now.
Yeah, do it under approval of the agenda, and that way you're setting your agenda.
Oh, right, that's right.
That'd be good.
What was I thinking? Okay, so we're going to modify the agenda a little bit tonight. We're going to start out with number 7, old business, both A and B. And then we're going to go down to new business, item B will be the third one, and then we'll go back and go back to the new business and the public hearing.
Thank you. Just for the audience, those 3 cases,
You know,
2
yeah,
of them are extensions, and one's a real quick condominium, so we're going to
Yeah.
get those done before the public hearing
Right.
and the other site plan.
Exactly,
That's
exactly.
okay.
Well, this is Wednesday, you know how we are on Wednesday meetings.
It's not our normal night, so.
Alrighty, so now we will ask for approval of agenda as amended.
Madam Chair, I'd like to amend the...
Okay, gotcha.
Second.
I have a motion for Mr. Gladfelty, supported by Mr. Frederick, to approve the agenda as amended. Mr. Gladfelty?
Yes.
Mr. Frederick?
Yes.
Mr. Bobade?
Yes.
Mr. Krova?
Yes.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. McAnally?
Yes.
Ms. Jemison?
Yes. Oh, sorry, yes.
Chair votes yes. The agenda is approved. Item 4 is approval of the minutes.
So move, Madam Chair. Support.
I have a motion for Mr. Frederick, supported by Mr. Long, to approve the minutes from the regular meeting held on September 18th, 2023. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Frederick?
Yes.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Ms. Brobade?
Abstain.
Okay. Mr. Krova?
Yes.
Mr. Gladfelty?
Yes.
Mr. McAnally?
Yes.
Ms. Jemison?
Abstain.
Chair votes yes. The minutes are approved. Then we'll go to number 5, which is comments from the public on non-agenda items. Is there anyone here that wants to talk about anything that's not on our agenda tonight? Seeing no one, we will move on. And we will go down to our amended agenda to number 7, old business. And we have SPR 2021005, Project Spectra. Do I have it right? Yes. And they are asking for an extension. Is it, are the petitioners here? Name and address for the record, please.
Yes, Michael Weber with Inside Real Estate, address 1416th Street, Oakbrook, Illinois.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, we're just requesting approval for site plan extension for our project at 15525 Warman Road. we've been here, we were here last year requesting an extension as well. Given kind of the economic climate last year, and our constant conversations with tenants and potential users on site, they wanted to, they weren't quite ready to execute a lease on the property. So given the current economic climate, and we're seeing it kind of level off a little bit, we've seen activity pick up, and we're hoping this year that we can start construction on the project finally. So we're just hoping to get another year extension on our site plan approval.
Sure. Any discussion? Anybody? Anything from ministry? Okay. If not, a motion is in order.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
Mr. Krova.
I'd like to make a motion to approve a 12-month extension to the site plan approval for SPR 2021-005 Project Spectra, subject to the 5 comments in the planning report.
Support.
I have a motion from Mr. Krova, supported by Mr. Boboade, to grant a 12-month extension, is it? For SPR 2021-005, Project Spectra. Subject to the, what was it, 5 items in the report?
Yep, 5 comments.
5 comments, right, okay. Any discussion?
The date is noted in your motion as December this year, 2024. This actually expired in December, but Jeff granted an administrative extension
Right.
based on.
So we're giving until December of
this year.
2024?
Yep, even though it's January.
Okay.
They're already 1 month into it about it.
Right.
Yep, I would like to include that in my motion.
Thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
Yep, support.
Motion from Mr. Krova, supported by Mr. Boboade, to give extend a 12-month extension to Project Spectra, SPR 2021-005, subject to the 5 comments in the report. This extension will expire on December of 2024. Any discussion? Mr. Krova.
Yes?
Mr. Boboade.
Yes.
Mr. Long.
Yes.
Mr. Gladfelty.
Yes.
Mr. Frederick.
Yes.
Mr. McAnally.
Yes.
Ms. Jamison.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, you have your extension.
Thank you very much.
Did you drive in from Illinois?
I flew in.
Oh, okay. Well,
Got it about an hour ago.
you going back tonight?
Gonna try.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
All righty. Next, we have SPR 2022012 JK Industrial, and they are also requesting a 12-month extension. Name and address, please, for the record.
Michael Scott, JK Investment. All right, this is PO Box 810, Royal Oak, Michigan, 48068.
And have any comments about the extension?
We're seeking an extension due to the economic climate, and we had a couple potential tenants that fell through. Now with interest rates coming back down, we're confident that we can find someone
Sure.
within
Okay.
the next, hopefully, 12 months.
Any discussion?
No.
And any discussion, any comments?
This, Madam Chairman, this is the first extension for this.
Yeah, this is the first extension, yes.
Okay.
Okay, if not, a motion
This
is in
one
order.
you saw before. This is round 2 of the site plan. That's why it sounds so familiar.
Uh-huh.
It was back in, what was it, 2017? They got
Right.
all their extensions then came back, some modifications to the plan a little
Right.
bit, mostly because of the stormwater changes. Is that right on this one? Yeah, but yeah, this is all.
So is this still the first, but something
First, but
familiar?
yeah, we
Right.
still have a couple more,
Okay.
so.
Exactly.
But we're hoping to see some engineering plans turned in, so.
I need a motion.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
Mr. Krova.
I would like to make a motion to approve a 12-month extension to the site plan approval for SPR 2022-012 JK Industrial Building until date of December 30th, 2024, subject to the 7 comments in the planning summary report.
Support.
Support. I have a motion for Mr. Krova, supported by Mr. Frederick, to approve a 12-month extension to the site plan approval for SPR 2022-012 JK Industrial Building until December 30th, 2024, subject to the 7 items that are listed on page 2 of the planner's report. Any discussion?
Just a question.
Go ahead.
Is there a waiver given on this one?
Waiver.
Yes, because we did not have a planning commission meeting.
So similar to the last
Right,
motion.
yep,
Okay.
You want to include that as part of, they were given granted a waiver?
right.
Okay, yep, I'd like to include that too in my motion.
That the waiver was granted, you mean, granting the waiver?
Yep.
Who supported that?
I do.
Do you agree with the waiver?
I do, I support that.
Okay. Any other discussion? I have a motion from Mr. Crova, supported by Mr. Frederick, to approve a 12-month extension to the site plan approval for SPR 2022-012 JK Industrial Building until December 30th, 2024, subject to the 7 things plus the waiver, approve of the waiver, listed on page 2 of the planner's report. Discussion? Mr. Crova.
Yes?
Mr. Frederick.
Yes.
Ms. Jamison.
Yes.
Mr. McAnally.
Yes.
Mr. Gladfelty.
Yes.
Mr. Long.
Yes.
Mr. Bowade.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. You have your extension. Next, we are going to old business item,
New business?
I'm sorry, new business, I'm sorry. We're done with old business. New business. Item B, SPR 2023033, excuse me, Opus Group Condominium.
Good evening. My name is Mike Robinson with Opus Development Company. Address 9700 Higgins Road in Rosemont, Illinois. I heard a presentation. I don't know if we wanted to go through it. I don't know if we need to, but I can kind of talk through it without the presentation.
You know what, did you send it to Kayla?
I did.
Yeah. Mike? Oh, you know what? Can he hear us down there? It's probably because we took it out of order, that's why he's got that one up. Let's see if he can hear us. Or I can text him. Do Mike's text. Mike's phone number.
I can go find them.
And next country's down there. Let's see if this is his. Yeah, that's his. For some reason, I don't have it in here, guys. So much for saving some time, huh? Thanks, Mike.
Just table contents. Real quickly, Opus Development Company, we are headquartered in Minneapolis. I'm out of the Chicago office. Chicago office runs Chicago area, southeastern Wisconsin, northwest Indiana, and also Michigan. So we have general contractor in-house, we have our architecture in-house, and again, I'm with the development group. That's Mike Guggerman runs the office, and I run the industrial development team. So here's the current site plan as it sits. So we bought 22 acres. We constructed 2 buildings at the same time. Just hit substantial completion on both. We actually have our open house next week, so I'll be back in town next week. But as you can see, it's under one parcel. And so chances are we are going to lease them at separate times and then us be selling them to different buyers at some point in the future as well. So our request is to split the site into a condominium concept where you're dividing it through the truck court, and as I go back, you can see that it kind of splits the trailer parking and it goes through that sidewalk there. We worked with local council, Bill Freeman, and the PEA group to establish this plan. So we're requesting approval to have this separation condominium plan.
That's it?
That's it, yeah. Not much of a presentation, but I thought it would be good to
Sure, thank you.
visualize it.
Okay. Any questions or comments from
I do have one question.
Mr. Krova?
I'm just curious, what would be the benefits of having a condominium plan versus splitting them apart in two separate lots?
For us, the local attorney explained to us that the condominium concept is I guess more utilized here in Michigan. It's new to us in Illinois. So we went to Bill Freeman, who I guess created that concept. And so we thought it would be an easier separation and transition, but I don't know the difference between the separation.
But Jessica does. Jessica can explain it.
Perfect.
So in regards to most communities in southeast Michigan, the condominium plan or the condominium concept allows for shared areas and shared infrastructure use, like they are sharing a detention basin, and it then creates an entity that is responsible for the maintenance of that basin. It allows for communities to do less governance on things that sometimes get forgotten about, but having the two parcels linked together, you have shared ingress and egress, you have shared stormwater facilities, and then there is the ability for them to maintain and have a way to finance that maintenance that doesn't have to be policed by the community. So in essence, it's a lot of times what we see and what communities do prefer.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Nothing?
Keep in mind procedurally on this one, this is a recommendation to city council.
Right,
So,
right.
thank you.
All righty. So we need a recommendation for approval to city council.
Madam Chair,
Mr.
I propose that we make recommendation to City Council on SPR-2023-033 Opus Group Condominium, 33100 and 33200 Smith Road, Industrial Condominium Subdivision for Opus Group.
I'll support that.
Okay. I have a motion from Mr. Frederick, supported by Mr. Gladfeldy, to recommend a preliminary condominium plan approval, SPR 2023-033 Opus Group Condominium, Romulus Industrial Park, to the City Council, subject to the comments in OHM's letter dated December 5th, 2023.
Yes.
Any discussion? All righty. Mr. Frederick?
Yes.
Mr. Gladfeldy?
Yes.
Mr. McAnally?
Yes.
Ms. Jamison?
Yes.
Mr. Boboade?
Yes.
Mr. Krova?
Yes?
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Chair votes yes. We are going to recommend that to City Council. Good luck. Well, that's it. That's the end of my page. We get to go home. Wishful thinking. Okay, we're going to go back to the beginning now. And public hearings, we have RZ 2023-003. We're doing them all as one?
Do 3 separate motions, I assume.
Okay, we'll do 3 separate motions, okay. So we have RZ 2023-003, which is to rezone .811 acres of property, including the west 73.7 degrees of parcel 8047990006-702, which is .547 acres of tract 1, 29225 Smith Road, and the west 140-degree parcel of 8047990011-701, which is .264 acres of tract B from MT Industrial Transportation to C3 Highway Business. We're going to discuss each one separate?
Do you know, you might want to put, the public hearings are just the rezoning and the special land use, and as you know, the site plan is what goes with the special land use.
Oh, right.
So you may want to, you can definitely tie the rezoning in these 2 special land uses and get the public hearing opened, and then maybe as part of that, they can do their presentation, which will be, they'll explain to you the rationale on the rezoning and why they need it. They'll explain to you
Okay.
the special land uses as they tie into the site plan. So we can probably do one big discussion, and then at the end of the day, make these separate motions.
Okay.
Does that sound
So
good
we're
for you
doing that one.
guys?
We're going to do the public hearing for SLU 2023-010, SLU 2023-011, and SPR 023021. No, I'm reading the wrong ones, aren't I?
Yes, 3.
Yep, there's 2 special land uses. So there's
Oh, just the 2 special land uses, correct?
numbers.
I told you, I don't like Wednesdays. Okay, it's SLU 2023-010 and SLU 2023-011. And that is, we're going to open the public hearing for the, on the special land use on those 2 items. Is there, let the record show we have on file an affidavit of first-class mail. If there's anyone who wishes to speak on these items, please raise your hand. When you're acknowledged, come to the podium, give us your name and address and your comments.
Do you want them to do their presentation first? Yep. Why don't you do your presentation?
Do your presentation first.
And
You know
if
what?
there's any of the public ones.
We haven't had a meeting in 4 months, so we're a little rusty.
We are very rusty.
At least I am. Okay, do your presentation, please.
We'll get through it one way. Good evening, thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Drew Miller, 4270 Morris Road, Columbus, Ohio. I'm with Skilton Gold Real Estate Development. With me tonight is Tyler Smith with the Smith Group and David Bucknell Sheets. We're thrilled to be back here again for another proposal for a Sheets development property. And I'm going to let David go ahead and give a little bit of information about Sheets, and then we can get into some more details about the site.
Mine open. Okay.
Good evening, my name. Oh, very good. Good evening, my name is David Brunkelmeyer of Sheets. It's a pleasure to be back before you again tonight to present another project here in the city of Romulus. I think you've heard a little bit about Sheets before, but I want to go ahead and just run through a couple more things and maybe give you, just a little bit more information, a little bit more context. So again, Sheets was started in 1952 in central Pennsylvania. Family run, family operated, and we intend to be family run, family operated for a very long time. So what do we have? What makes Sheets a little different? Again, I know you know that we're a restaurant, convenience store, fuel station. But a lot of things that set us apart are really our family atmosphere, our DNA, the way we treat our customers, the way we treat our employees, a lot of the benefits that our employees have. So there's a lot of things we can go through tonight, but we'll just take you through a few slides here. So a couple of things. We're a premium offering, a premium one-stop shop for all of our customers on the go, 24/7, 365. And that means everything from groceries, gallon of milk, a loaf of bread, all the way through, a hot made-to-order sandwich, overnight or at lunch. So we're a really good place for people to stop. We have that convenience factor. We have clean restrooms, we have clean facilities, we have indoor seating, somewhere people can stop, grab a cup of coffee, shoot a couple of emails off from our free Wi-Fi in the store, and then be on their way. You can see a few of these pictures, and they really speak 1,000 words per picture. We have premium architecture. We have a lot of articulation on our building. Full brick and stone sections, so we have stone below, brick up top. Metal architectural awnings, and of course we have a couple of roof features. And of course you can see our architectural features on our fuel canopy. We have obviously that decorative truss look that gives it just a little bit of good presence and a good feel from the road. And this is our prototypical site. This is what we want to see when we're done with our work and ready to serve our customers. And again, inside the building, it kind of reiterates that premium one-stop shop, family-owned. We've got really nice tile floors, beautiful architectural features inside, and of course we have everything from, you can see there on the bottom left, grab-and-go sandwiches, nice little cups of vegetables to go, some healthy options, everything from boiled eggs to beef jerky, all that kind of stuff. In addition to our indoor seating with our dining for our made-to-order sandwiches. So just gives you a good idea of our premium offerings and things that we're able to provide for our customers. And again, this is just another quick shot of our dining area. So again, I kind of touched on this. What makes us unique? It's how we treat our family. And our family is all of our employees, not just people that have the name sheets. Everybody that works at the stores has the availability to get full employee benefits, so health, dental, vision, all those things that I would get as a corporate employee, they get the exact same benefits. So that's a huge option. I mean, that's a huge perk for the people that come and work for us. And that doesn't even talk about the competitive wages that we offer, all kinds of opportunities to get promoted and things like that. So those are just a few of the things that really set us apart. In addition, we like to give back to the community. We're always looking for ways to give. An example, every year between all of our sheet stores, we donate over 1 million pounds of food. So that's just something that we like to do. We continually give back. We sponsor Special Olympics, and we do some other things like sheets for the kids at Christmas time. Every store selects, I think it's 16 kids that get some special attention at Christmas with gifts and things like that to help support them through some tough times. So just wanted to give you a quick overview since it's been a while since we've been here. Just remind you who Sheets is and who we like to be and how we like to present ourselves. With that, I'm going to turn this back over to Drew. He's going to give you a few more details on the site plan.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to touch briefly a little bit about the property that we're looking at and some of the conditions that we are proposing and some of the criteria for the rezone and the special land use permits. So as you can see, this is the site located right here on the southeast corner of Smith and Middlebelt Road. The entire parcel you can see is outlined in red there. What will be developed is just on the corner there, which is highlighted in red. Currently, the site, there used to be some homesteads there back in 1937. Some of the historical records show that there was some other houses, and it was primarily used for agricultural purposes. There's a lot of kind of nuisance trash and things out there in the site right now that we discovered during our environmental due diligence, and so looking forward to cleaning that up. This store, it will be very similar to what you've seen before for the Wick and Vining Road location. We are still working through some of the details on those plans with the city engineer to make sure that it's consistent and it's what the city is looking for in their ordinances. But you can see this is what the store would look like, again, exactly like the Wick and Vining Road location. So there is a large wetland on the site. When we first looked at this property, we were looking at developing a much larger portion of it. After we did a wetland delineation and worked with Eagle, we found out that kind of right there in the middle, what you see outlined in yellow is our wetlands, which has forced the store to reduce its footprint, and we've kind of forced everything up into the corner there so that we'll have a minimal impact to the wetland. Currently, our Eagle permit is in process. It's in the public comment portion of that process right now. So one of the things that we have kind of talked about here since the packet came out last Friday is we are going to offer, we're going to propose voluntary conditions of the rezone. This is still in draft form, and we'll work with our attorney and the city's attorney to, kind of make this more official. But part of the rezone, I guess let me back up. So if you see the picture on the left, this is what the current parcels look like. There's tract 1 to the east there. What's called tract B is to the south. That's where the off-ramp freeway is. And then tract 2 is on the hard point. So the portion that tract 2 is C3 highway right now. What we're looking to do to rezone is a portion of tract 1. And then the end result would be what you see here in the proposed parcels. So parcel A on the left would be rezoned to would be C3 highway. Parcel B would remain MT industrial. And so one of the things that we want to offer as a condition of this rezone is that the parcel would only be used as a fuel service station, fast food restaurant without a drive-through, and open for business to the public for 24 hours. Number 2 there is what we described is that we'd be developing this in accordance with the approved site plans, and we substantially conform to the plans that have been provided to the city. Architectural materials of the building and the fuel pump canopy would be substantially in accordance with the elevations included as part of this rezone. Parcel B would be preserved as wooded wetland area, which would be required by EGLE. Part of this project also is we did a traffic impact study, and she would be installing a traffic signal, and they would also be widening Smith Road so that there's a dedicated left turn lane. So we want to offer that as part of this condition of the rezone, that a traffic signal would be installed there. And then finally, number 6, this was actually has changed since this was submitted to Kayla. So there was some discussion, which I'm sure the city engineer can elaborate on, about the western portion of the site. And I do have a site plan I'll get to here. I'll elaborate on that. But number 6 will be changed. So I just wanted to run through a few of the justification for the rezoning, and this is really straight out of the application. There's 8 criteria there, questions that kind of ask for a justification for the rezoning. Number 1 being the proposed C3 rezoning will create a safe, community-friendly, family-owned establishment that will serve the surrounding community. The rezoning request is specifically to add property to the existing property that is zoned C3. So, like I said, the corner of Smith and Middlebelt is already zoned C3. We're just looking to add a portion of property to that so that we can fit the site here. Natural features do not impact the proposed rezoning. Like I said, there is wetlands out there, and we're working with Eagle to minimize the impact there. And geologically, we've done some studies of the soil, and we don't see any issues with construction. Number 4, like I just mentioned, we are offering conditions to restrict what could be used or what could be built on this site in the future, or how it could be used. Number 5, the site can adequately served by essential facilities and services. We feel comfortable that we can achieve that. Number 6, traffic impacts are mitigated. Like I said, we did do a traffic study, and we feel we're improving the traffic situation on Middlebelt with the installation of the signal. Smith Road is a dead-end road, but we know there's potential for future developments there. So we feel like the signal and the dedicated turn lane that we'll be installing will create a much better and safer environment there. Number 7, the public demand for this type of use aligns well with the need for added fuel convenience and restaurant. The location here is really kind of perfect for this type of development for C3 type use. And number 8, like I said, this development fully supports the intent of the C3 zoning. To address the special land use criteria, there is 7 items there in the application that we have submitted. And so really what we're looking at is the fuel use in the drive-through. Where this site is located, we feel like it's very appropriate and it's the intent of the C3 zoning. And then, just some consideration of the stated intent of the zoning district in harmony with the zoning ordinance. We have worked with the city engineer and city staff to come up with a really great design that we feel comfortable and excited about. And so there's a lot of different considerations as far as the layout, operational efficiency, aesthetic considerations, and maintenance practices that Sheets is known for. The surrounding neighborhood is mostly industrial. There's vacant lots to the east and to the west. And again, so we feel like the C3 is appropriate and the use that we're requesting here is appropriate. I hinted on the traffic already. And actually, let me just jump to the site plan here to talk about the traffic a little bit more. So what you can see there is the intersection. Those would be submitted under a separate plan that hasn't been prepared yet. To address some pedestrian features of the site, we would be installing a sidewalk on Middlebelt and Smith with crosswalks to access the site. As far as minimizing impacts to the neighbors, we have a pretty robust landscape plan. Like I said, the neighbors are industrial uses, so I feel like we're serving them. Quality of the natural environment, there's wetlands, there's trees. Like I said, we're working with Eagle to minimize the impacts there, and we're hoping to get that Eagle permit approved here relatively soon. And then essential public facilities and services. Again, pedestrian and bike facilities are going to be offered on this site. Part of the review process is to coordinate with the fire, police and fire, and so we feel comfortable with that. And we've kind of vetted this all for water and sewage facilities. So again, here's the site plan. The fuel canopies will be out on Middlebelt Road. There is a drive-through, and you can see the canoe aisle down there at the bottom, towards the side of the site where the off-ramp is. And the wetlands are there to the east. So, like I said, Tyler Smith with Nick and Smith is here to answer any site-specific civil engineering type questions. If you have any sheet-specific questions, David can answer those.
Thank you. Okay, I will open the public hearing now. Thank you.
Public comments now.
Pardon me?
You already opened the public hearing. Now it's for public comments.
Right, I already opened it, yes. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak on this matter? If so, raise your hand when you're acknowledged. Come to the podium, give us your name and address and your comments. Not everybody at once. Seeing no one, we will close that portion. We'll close the public hearing, and I will open it to the commissioners for questions or comments. Mr. McAnally.
If we could go back to the site plan where the rezoning portion, just for my clarification, because I think I heard it wrong. From what I'm looking at, the 8227 Middlebelt is already zone C3, and then we're combined, the following two parcels that stack behind it are going to be rezoned to C3.
Just a portion of the parcel.
If you look at this on the cover.
That's what I'm looking at.
The red portion, it's a portion of track 1 and a portion of track B, the red portions. So they're just little slivers broken
Okay.
off for two pieces, from those two pieces.
So the 29225 Smith Road behind there is going to remain as what it is, empty?
Yes, everything except the 73.7 feet to the west, piece of that's going to get broken off, and then this other piece down at the bottom, track B, the front part of that's gonna get broken off, and they're both gonna get then combined with track 2 to make the, basically it's to make the C3 piece a little bit bigger to fit the development. So,
But you own that whole track, 1 and everything else, it's
yeah,
just going to
yep,
remain the
yep.
same zoning.
right. They'll own 2 pieces of property. One's got development on it, one's got a lot of wetlands on it.
Okay,
And some
that-
buildable area. The division came up actually with the assessor's office with regard to just breaking property off, in this case reconfiguring property and leaving a piece just with wetlands. But in working with them, you know, I explained to her that there is a buildable portion there. You know, if they did ever want to build or combine, you know, it's MT property as you're moving down Smith Road, so.
Okay. Trying to find where I saw a comment. When they were reviewing, Carlisle Wortman was reviewing the rezoning request, they made a comment that not all information has been provided to support the rezoning. I just want to clarify if all required information for the consideration of a rezoning has not been submitted. So I'm trying to find
So
out.
what had happened on this is, as you know, we have a new planning consultant that came on board the end of the year, that came into sort of the middle of this. We had started the reviews, and the initial application that came in was incomplete. And I think what that was a combination of the 2 letters. It is complete now, there's enough information there. There's a few odds and ends that are in the site plan review, but it's more site plan review stuff. The application is fine, so.
Okay, that's all I have regarding the rezoning.
Yep.
Any other questions, comments? Mr. Gladfelter?
I'm going through my notes here. You've already spoke with Wayne County. They have no problem with the traffic signal there?
That is correct, yes. So we have a full traffic study complete. We can answer any questions you may have on that, but yes, it fully supports that added turn lane on Smith and a traffic signal at the intersection.
Thank you.
Mr. Long?
Yes, thank you for attending tonight's meeting, but my question in regards to the site plan. Previously, down on your other Sheets property, we had discussed about having by that being near a highway, a pet area. And looking at this plan here, I don't see that happening with this plan because it's a little tight with the boundaries. So is that still a possibility? And also, before you comment on that, is there any way, like on the facing of Middle Belt, coming off of that exit, there is something that you can put in there for Romulus, recognizing Romulus?
Okay, well, let's start with the pet area, if that's okay. That site plan of Wicken Vining, there were already some approvals done, and we were meeting the conditions of approval that had already been done for Royal Farms. We're very happy to build that and offer it as a use, but we don't have any truck parking on that site. And that pet area is really going to be for use for some of the other developments in the area. So it's kind of a combined use and something that we could offer to that specific development. It's not something we always put in.
Yeah.
One other constraint here is the wetlands. We're really trying to be conscious of not trying to bump too far into there. And obviously, when we're working with Eagle, they want to minimize impacts as much as possible, as do we. So we were trying to be really conscious of how much green space we were eating into, and it constrained our site plan quite a bit. As far as offering something for Romulus, can you elaborate a little bit more on what you're thinking?
You know, even though that's not a border, but just something like when you're coming off of that exit going into the airport or going into the other parts of the city, just saying, you know, not a welcoming to Romulus, but city of Romulus or something to that effect.
We would need to work a little bit with city staff.
On that, yes.
We can certainly work, happy to work with staff on that. Not sure we're ready to confirm that.
Commit,
Maybe
yeah,
some
I
other wetland
understand.
impacts and some landscaping we gotta,
Yes,
kind of
yes.
play with a little bit there, so.
Just a suggestion, that's all,
No,
nothing
no, I'm
required.
happy to hear that suggestion. I would be happy to work with Carol and Jessica on that, if that's okay.
Yes, no problem. But thank you.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
Go ahead.
You, Mr. Grover, and then you?
Through the
ahead,
chair, I do have a couple questions. One is your drive-through. I see where it circles around back of your property, south side of your property, and then cuts back through lanes of traffic to the building. Is that a common setup for you guys?
This is a very common setup, and in fact, this is how I would love to see all of our sites oriented. Just because it puts the drive-through as far away from our access points as possible.
Okay.
It's the least traveled path around the building. So if you're specifically asking about maybe a conflict
Yeah,
of the
yep.
drive-through canoe headed towards the building and people coming around the building.
Yeah.
I don't anticipate that to be the main travel path for our customers. I expect that they would stay in front of the building, kind of loop around. Does this have laser pointer? Yeah. I would expect that customers from that, the auto canopy would loop here. Like, I don't envision people coming here, kind of going out and they're ready to come around the back of the building. In addition, we have a stop sign shown. We actually have a stop sign shown right there to just make sure people are stopping, taking a look real quick. If there is some cross traffic, we operate sites like this. I think we have hundreds of drive-throughs with a condition, some of them even not quite as favorable as this. And we don't really have any conflicts. We run about 8 to 9 cars an hour at the peak of our drive-through. We'd be willing to submit that data. The reason being is we expect people to come in, use the restroom, come in and sit down inside or outside. We also have outside seating. The drive-through is really a convenience factor. You got a soccer mom and you've got 4 kids in the car. You don't want to drag them all out into the store to go grab their food. So it's really something like that where they might even mobile order and not even pull into the drive-through canoe to order and just pull straight up to the window, grab their food, maybe a gallon of milk, and be on their way. So it's really not Chick-fil-A, it's not Starbucks. We're not running any kind of volume like that.
Okay, and then I have a second question. I see where there's talk of possibly a variance to a setback for the dumpster enclosure, and then it's possibly for machines to return recyclables. Can you explain that, please?
So, being new to the Michigan market, we're working on how we want to handle our bottle returns. We would like to use some of the automatic machines. And right now, the concept is to put that at our dumpster enclosure with an ADA pathway to it, all of that to make it functional. And it would be semi-enclosed. So it would be, protected from the elements and have the bottle return machines out there. That's not set in stone. That's the plan right now. We're trying to refine that, make it a little bit better. In order to align that with the drive-through, or the driveway, so the trash truck can pull straight in, that's where that conversation is happening.
I know it's really not, maybe it is delineated on the plans, but I was kind of confused about it. And then also, it's basically, people would have to cut right through that driveway for the drive-through. And it's abnormal. Majority of the returnables are inside buildings, they're heated, but the machines are kind of, they don't function the best when it is heated, let alone into a partial enclosure area. And then the other thing that I would be afraid of is if people come here from out of state, their bottle doesn't go through your machine, the first thing they do is they'll chuck it, in the building. You go to Myers and there's garbage containers filled with non-returnable bottles. I'm afraid these bottles are going to end up in the wetlands. So me personally, I wouldn't be, if it was my choice, I wouldn't approve you having an outdoor recyclable facility.
If I could build on, I'm sorry, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
In this weather, you go to your best gas station and half the keypads don't work because they're all frozen up and everything else. You put that out there, you're going to have people chucking stuff everywhere. It's just not going to function.
As far as people throwing away trash, we do regular lot checks. People are picking up trash. Our employees are out picking up trash. I definitely understand your concerns about keypads not working, being too cold like right now, things freezing up. I brought those to attention of our team, and that's where I'm coming from, where we're trying to revise some of that. I just don't have that plan yet. It's still underway. It's still under advisement. I've brought up some similar concerns. So again, we're still working through how to operate here in Michigan. We got some refining to do. In addition to that, if the machines are down, we can still take them back at the register. So we still have a backup plan in place for that.
I have a question for Carol. So if myself and maybe enough people here don't support an outdoor recycle facility, would it be who of us to say that we are not in support of that ordinance variance for section 7.04?
It would actually be something you could just add right to your motion, that as part of this approval, you don't approve, any outdoor, bottle returns out there. You want it all inside the building. You want
And then
it
that way,
enclosed.
everybody can have a comment on it.
Madam Chair, in additional comment to Commissioner Prova's comment, the fire chief, Chief Allison, said in his report, dispensing devices shall be in clear view of the attendant at all times. Obstructions shall not be placed between the dispensing area and the attendant. That right there might nullify the device out there.
Yeah, yeah.
If I may, I think that may refer specifically to the fueling area, all fuel dispensers. I don't know if that necessarily applies to the bottle return, but what we do for the dispensing areas, we have active monitor cameras and things like that, and we have some windows that we can look through. I don't know if I have any additional information to offer on the bottle returns, other than we're working through that. If that's a sticking point, we can have a discussion about changing that.
I personally would like to see it through administrative review, but I would like to see a motion included in our, amendment included in our motion to restrict that.
Okay.
Just another, I'm sorry.
No, go
Just
ahead.
another comment on the subject of the bottle return machine. Have you ever been to like a Meijer and someone's bringing in 5,000 cans?
Absolutely.
That's what you're going to have there.
We're having a lot of conversations that
Yes, that's just another comment. It's not going to be one or two cans, trust
I
me.
think you're absolutely correct.
Someone's gonna
And that's
camp out
again
there.
why We're looking at changing our plan just a little bit.
Especially if you're going to park their car next to it full of cans.
You have no idea.
Madam Chair, I know he's going next, but I just wanted to comment about the bottle return. I have an opposing review. I agree with that. If you have been to Myers, it's disgusting. They smell. I would not want to see those inside of a restaurant where people are eating and you're smelling that nasty smell. The floors get sticky because people are nasty. I think having it outside is brilliant to me because I would not come into a place and eat. I already don't like buying food at gas stations, but I would not go into a place to eat that smelled like that old nasty smell where they have all those bottle returns, because it does get pretty messy. So if you could figure out a way to make that work, that makes everybody happy, and keep it outside of where people are going to be eating, that would be great. It's just my opinion.
I think some of the talk was wherever, but keeping it enclosed, right? Whether it's on the outside, enclosing that outside structure so that the stuff doesn't, end up all over the place.
That is correct.
That's what you're exploring?
That we're exploring some kind of option where it's up next to the building. We can still get, HVAC and electricity all to it, be able to hose that. That again, the reason we landed where we are now is because we were concerned about, hey, we have fresh food, people eating,
Right.
bottle return next
Right.
to it with those machines and how they get nasty. That was one of the big concerns.
We're working on the other site with this as well, so maybe that idea of, since they don't totally know, we haven't actually sat down and talked to them about it all, maybe putting a condition on that, kind of restricting, the bottle return, the location of just basically letting us handle it administratively, getting us solved administratively. I think, we understand
Yes.
because we had the same concern when it came in on the other sheets. And, we need to work with them to get it figured
So
out.
then we won't be giving a variance.
No, it's not a variance.
I thought we had to have a setback
No, it's not a setback variance.
for a dumpster.
If I can just,
Where did that come
OHM
from?
talked a little bit about it.
The dumpster is.
Variance and waivers, number 3.
18 feet. 5-foot setback for the dumpster.
Page 2 of 5 of their report.
It's in a rear setback, but it's dumpsters come down 5 feet, they can go out in parking. They don't have to meet the building setback. Parking setback.
So the 14 is okay?
Yeah, is it 14 or 18? Yeah, 14, yeah. Goes along with the pavement.
Oh, 3, number 3, ordinance 7.04, site setback.
Number 4, even the structure.
Yep, yes, not,
Dumpster wall.
Well,
yep,
that's
request
what
a
they're
variance
going
to
with.
reduce the distance of the dumpster enclosure from the required 25-foot setback to 14.
Yeah, the way that we've interpreted the ordinance is that dumpsters, they don't have to meet a building setback, they meet the parking setback. So in this case, the parking setback in the rear is 5 feet. So, is that what we were?
We had interpreted it the opposite way, but if you are saying that,
No, we've never required a dumpster, you got a building, you got parking, and the dumpster's at the end of the parking. So we've always had that dumpster enclosure, interpreted that to be the parking setback, not the building setback. Where it's different, most of the time we don't deal with it because the building setback and the parking setback are the same. So like in your industrial districts, so we don't deal with it too much.
So at this point, are we saying the planning commission has given input on our feelings regarding the dumpster or the bottle return locations?
Right.
And will allow administration to work with
Right.
the petitioner?
Right,
Okay.
right.
Makes sense. Yep. Through the chair, number 1, welcome to Michigan. And shall I say second, welcome to Romulus. So I want to talk a little bit about the traffic impact study. Is there anyone who can address that in your team?
Absolutely, we have our engineer here, so
Okay.
Smith.
All right, very good. First, I would refer to OHM's report from the traffic impact study. The things that were listed as concerns, did you guys take a look at that, or did we get any revision?
if I may, through the chair?
Yes.
The items that we have noted in, that we would like revised in the traffic impact study, the intent of the study is to determine any areas that mitigation is necessary. The mitigation that was found to be necessary was the installation of the traffic signal. The items we've noted will help with the timing of the traffic signal, but they're not going to change the overall objective of that mitigation. So we won't find ourselves, once these get adjusted, we're not going to find ourselves needing additional mitigation. We just will be fine-tuning the mitigation that would be put in place.
Okay, who will be doing the fine-tuning of the timing? Because, I mean, you outlined here some pretty detailed offsets or things that are off, and we know with traffic signal, 2-3 seconds is the difference between a huge backup.
Correct. Wayne County, in order to permit the traffic signal, will require a timing permit application to be submitted. They will require all of this backup information, and then Wayne County is actually going to do the final review. These are just items that we're noting need to be revised before they get submitted back to the city, and then also get submitted to Wayne County.
Okay, so what they sent to you was kind of like a preliminary sketch, and you're saying to them, this needs to be adjusted based on what
Correct.
we already have? Okay, very good. The other question that I have, I was looking at your executive summary, I believe, that was submitted by Manic Smith Group. Yeah. So I was looking at the executive summary, and the traffic counts were based on December 14, 2022, and a yearly growth rate of 0.2 referencing SEMCOG. Is that the only thing you took into consideration?
for them on this. They're going to meet all the codes with Wayne County, with what their submittal was. Whatever's required by the county, we'll submit that.
Because my assumption is, once you put a store there, you would like more traffic. Correct?
So naturally, with the growth of things, always, the population's getting bigger, people are moving to the area. You expect a certain amount of growth increase every year. And that's something that the county would set as a standard. We would like plenty of traffic, but I think the reason we're here at this intersection is because it's already there. And our model is to capture existing traffic. So, when you stop for fuel, typically you don't just leave your house, go get gas and come back. That would be very uncommon. So people are on their way to work, they're on their way to, maybe a doctor appointment, something like that. I need gas, I swing through, I'm already on the route. So we're taking traffic that's there already, bringing them to the site for obviously the convenience store, restaurant, fuel sales, and then putting them back on the road. So does that kind of explain the traffic situation a little bit better?
Yes, and I'm driving a very important point here that, one, this 0.2 is not what you would want, because you would want, a lot of traffic. Now, if you go to that intersection, there is free flow of traffic, both north and southbound. And once your store goes in, you expect more traffic in the area, especially congregated there. Now we have people coming in, and then everyone wants to move out about the same time. So it will create congestion. And I'm concerned that, the right parameters were not given to OHM, and I just feel like your traffic report is very vague. We already have a problem going southbound on Middlebelt right at Goddard, those who need to make the left turn. And sometimes it backs up pretty good. So having a backup northbound is not good.
Yeah, we totally understand. That's really why we're getting at making the very big investment to put a light in, to handle all those extra, like you said, people are going to kind of congregate at our site and then leave, and that's what that traffic signal is offsetting. So that's why we're putting in the extra left turn lane out of Smith and the traffic signal for the whole intersection. That's going to alleviate, like you said, there's going to be extra congestion, and the mitigation suggested in the report is what is going to handle that at our expense.
Okay, so let's walk through this. We have a whole bunch of people coming northbound on Middlebelt. They turn into Smith, turn into your store. Now, a whole bunch of people want to get out of your store to make a left on Smith. I just feel that, one, the traffic signal there, the whole timing thing is not sufficient. And two, if we have a lot of people turning on Smith, I think it will create a backup for those who are going to turn into your store. I mean, do you see what I'm saying, where there can be a congestion on Smith?
So we've done a couple of things to mitigate that. So that western access here, we have been working with staff and OHM advisors to look at that condition. And we have agreed to make this a right-in only. So what that would allow us to do is have more stacking here on this extra left turn lane that we're building, so that we don't have congestion here. Our customers have to come into our site, go to the fuel canopy, come around, and go all the way back out to this access point in order to hit the light. Does that make sense? So from a Smith standpoint, we've taken care of our traffic that way. And then obviously, helping with the traffic coming in off Middlebelt, we've installed the traffic signal.
So if the backup is on Smith going east, turning into your store,
Yeah.
then you also have another set of traffic coming out of your store going left.
Well, but they won't be able to take a left.
No, they're not taking that one, they're taking the other one. But we already have a backup on Smith. So, and it's not like we're going to widen the lane for those to,
We are actually going to widen this a little bit so we can get a left turn lane in.
Okay.
So we're going to add a lane, and our traffic signal, our traffic study actually suggests that we shouldn't stack up past here.
Correct.
I think working with staff and OHM, we've agreed to have all of our customers come out of this access point in order to make a long stacking lane here, just to make sure that we don't have, like you said, a big conflict right here.
okay.
Does that answer your question on this?
Yes, that answers my question, and this to Carol, in the future, I know Smith is a dead end. Is there any potential development that could open that up? Because that would,
In terms of the dead endness, there's a lot of vacant property there.
Okay.
Crown Enterprises owns a lot of that property on the north side of the road. There could be more traffic there in the future. But I would defer to Jessica in terms of, the analysis of the whole traffic study. I mean, that's a huge component of these, whether that level of service and whether the mitigation that they're proposing to offset any negative impacts is met. So I think she can explain to you what the findings were.
And so we did take a look at what was occurring movement-wise going eastbound on Smith. We feel that the improved radii, the improved width of Smith is going to allow for easy flow of traffic. Their numbers don't show that the queue length is going to be longer than the distance from Middle Belt to the first driveway. The traffic signal that's being put in right now, it will not have a dedicated left turn movement from Smith to Middle Belt, but it will be made ready so that if more of that vacant land on Smith becomes inhabited, then you're going to be able to have that new developer make revisions to that traffic signal, so we would have, again, a left turn phase. We're comfortable with what was shown in the traffic impact study. We want a cleaner version, and we want it all to match and be clarified. But we don't find any other additional concerns with what they're showing right now.
would that be a left turn lane on, a left turn arrow on Smith? So if I had to be going westbound on Smith and I need to turn southbound on Middle Belt?
Correct. Right now, it does not warrant that. That will not be included. The northbound and southbound Middle Belt traffic, those will have dedicated lefts, but the east and westbound will not.
Okay.
And as we know that there's a lot of vacant land to the east on Smith, and we have a lot of vacant land to the west on Smith. I think everyone is hoping that at some point that becomes developed property, and I think we're going to see an improved Smith corridor.
Okay, yeah, I wish I'd seen a better traffic report with the different turns. I think it would have given me some more level of comfort, but I'll defer to you, Jessica, on this.
We will continue to work with the applicant. They're making revisions to the site plan that was submitted, and both MDOT and Wayne County have also reviewed the traffic impact study. So it is being looked at with many eyes, and we will make sure that the timing is correct on that signal.
Okay.
Question.
Mr. McNabb.
Will this store be a franchise or will it be owned?
So Sheetz has no franchises. It is all family-owned, family-operated, so we would be a corporate store. So we don't sell franchises. We're not like McDonald's or Wendy's or anybody that somebody can buy into a franchise. No one can buy a franchise of Sheetz.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me. Is there anything else we need to discuss with regard to the, there are some waivers that we have to look at.
Okay, while you're looking, I just have one comment.
Go ahead.
Are we satisfied that the fire department can move their vehicles through? Because I'm looking at the January 8th And it just says, truck circulation must be demonstrated to largest vehicle, and does all that make, the templates have all been done, and
I'm sorry, which,
the fire department, the site circulation.
whose report was that in?
Huh?
Was that in OHM or the fire department?
It's on the fire department.
Fire department's report.
It's the last page.
Template used for other vehicles do not indicate compliance with turning radius. Plan shows interference with southeast corner of the drive-through and not knowing for which vehicle.
Was there a little bit of talk of making it one way, or, I believe, is that the compromise?
The western driveway is going to be one-way in, and the eastern driveway will be two-way. And I believe that that is going to take care of the comment that the chief had in his review letter.
Just a little bit of clarification. We have a full-size delivery truck, WB67, the big trucks. We're very confident that it is able to circulate the site and make our deliveries. And typically, when we have that, we're very, very confident that the fire truck can make the turn. And I know Tyler has already made sure that the fire truck can work and circulate around the site. We have a very high degree of confidence that it will. So we can make a note of that to verify with staff later, and we'll make sure we have through the engineering process as well.
As long as administration is satisfied, I'm fine.
They're shaking their heads, so.
Okay.
Through the chair, Mr. McAnally. Also on the chief's report, he's concerned about snow storage on site, indicated within the circulation plan also. The second X.
Yep, these are all things, as we talked about, the site plan was kind of questionable. We knew there was a lot of things to clean up, but we knew there was no fatal flaws. The rezoning and the special land uses, if you're comfortable with them, can be moved on possibly to city council. And then in the meantime, what we tend to do is when there are loose ends like this that we know can be resolved, we resolve them up before it goes to city council, and we do it administratively. Certainly, if you want to see it back, that's in your choice too, if you want to see all these things cleaned up, or we can maybe get a recommendation moved on to city council and get it cleaned up before it goes to city council.
It's here, I gotta find it.
If I may, very quickly, we have continued to work on engineering on the site, and we have emergency snow storage planned here. And also on this portion of the property where we could push the snow off. In addition, we should be able to store a couple of spots in the property, so if we have to have pre-planned or just as well.
So you have a mitigation for that?
Yes, we do. We have a plan.
Yep.
And obviously, we're continuing to work with staff and the city's administration and engineering to make sure that we can comply with all that.
I'm fairly confident that you guys can work that out, and I don't have a concern, but I do want to make sure it's all pointed out so we all keep track of it.
Right.
As far as just clarification through the staff, at this point, we have 3 motions that have to be made. And we really don't have any kind of summary to go by for what we want to
Whether it's,
You basically have 3 motions that require a recommendation to city council.
Correct.
And that's on the rezoning and on the 2 special land uses, which you need to separate those apart, even though they're very similar. Then there's the site plan.
which is a whole different thing. Okay.
Yep, which it just stays with you. And,
All right. I'm sure the questions are answered.
any more questions before we start?
I do, through the chair, question, have you thought about EV charging stations? I know it's a big whoop right now, And I think I asked a question on the one at Wick and Vining, and they said that they had a space for future. Are you considering a space for future if they ever figure out how to keep them from freezing?
Yes, we are heavily considering EV rolling out in the future. We're doing things like providing ADA pathways to future spaces, plumbing in conduits, things like that to make sure that we're ready. In addition to that, Sheetz and Tesla are very closely working on our move into this market. So we have a lot of sites that we're looking at. We can't guarantee them because Tesla kind of picks and chooses where they want to go. However, we are really close partners. And in addition to that, when technology is released that is now proprietary, we are developing our own in-house EV charging system. So that is something that really sets us apart from other operators. We have in-house people right now figuring out R&D for future EV charging.
I would recommend that you make those fast charging stations, because otherwise it's useless.
Yeah, we were looking at the fast chargers.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? What page are you on? You're good. Okay. I thought you had something else.
Good. Madam Chair,
Mr. McAnally?
there's no other comments or questions.
No other comments or questions?
I'll make a motion to recommend to City Council approval for rezoning RZ 2023-003 to rezone two parcels of property that are currently zoned MT Industrial Transportation to C3 Highway Business.
Support.
Excuse me. I have a motion from Mr. McAnally, supported by Ms. Jamison, to recommend to City Council approval to rezone RZ 2023-003.
Parcels listed in,
Parcels listed in the report, in the
planners report.
planner's report. Any discussion? Okay. Mr. McAnally?
Yes.
Ms. Jamison?
Yes.
Mr. Frederick?
Yes.
Mr. Gladfeldy?
Yes.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Krova?
Yes.
Mr. Boboade?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. We are recommending that one to City Council. That's one.
Okay, Madam Chairman, make a motion to recommend approval for special land use SLU 2023-010. Special land use for approval for an 8-pump vehicle fueling station for automobiles and small trucks, no tractor trailers.
Support.
Support, Mr. Long?
Yes.
Motion for, excuse me, Mr. McAnally, supported by Mr. Long, to recommend to City Council approval for SLU 2023-010, special land use for 8-pump vehicle fueling station for automobiles and small trucks and no tractor trailers. Any discussion? Mr. McAnally?
Yes.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Boboade?
Yes.
Mr. Krova?
Yes.
Mr. Gladfeldy?
Yes.
Mr. Frederick?
Yes.
Mr. McAnally? No, I already got you.
Did that.
I already got you, sorry. Ms. Jamison?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. That one is recommended. One down, two down, one to go.
Okay, this is where I get stuck.
This is special land use for a drive-through restaurant.
Special land use, did we do both the special land uses?
We
You
didn't
have to
do,
do them separately.
we didn't do the drive-through restaurant, right?
Oh, that's right, I'm sorry. Motion to recommend to City Council special land use for SLU 2023-011. Special land use approval for a drive-through restaurant, location 8227 Smith Road, /29225 Smith Road.
Support.
Motion for Mr. Mr. McInally, supported by Ms. Jamison. Again, to recommend to City Council approval of SLU 2023011 special land use for a drive-through restaurant at 8227 Smith Road, 29225 Smith Road. Any discussion? Mr. McInally?
Yes.
Ms. Jamison?
Yes.
Mr. Frederick?
Yes.
Mr. Bobade?
Yes.
Mr. Crova?
Yes?
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Gladfeldy?
Yes.
I already got you, Mr. Frederick, did I not? Okay. Chair votes yes. That was recommended also.
No comments for the next one.
So
Yes, they want comments.
I think we're done here.
Now you've got action on the site plan,
Oh,
which is,
Site plan.
sorry.
I do have,
sorry, it's wrapped up into the, it's SPR 23-021.
Oh, SPR 23021.
Yep. So you can take action on the
Okay.
site plan. And
So do you have
that's-
any questions or comments on the site plan?
See that?
yeah, I do. Madam Chair?
Go ahead.
Through the chair, I'd like to ask planning, do you want any comments added to our motion for the site plan?
You know, clearly it needs a conditional approval with referring it back to be revised and resubmitted for administrative review. You may just want to make a simple, the conditions are in the supporting documentation presented tonight and as discussed. You guys discussed a lot on those bottle return areas, and I think we've got the idea. So,
Which would include bottle return, revising the bottle return.
right, revising the bottle return area.
Yeah, because that is in OHM's comments about the bottle return.
Right, it's all, there's a
Okay.
lot of comments that have to be addressed, so. And I'm very confident that we can address it administratively, all these comments.
And also the comments about the traffic impact, to make sure those.
Yeah, basically, it's again, leaving it a conditional approval based on the reports as submitted. So all these comments get attached to conditions of approval,
Including comments made.
including
during the
comments tonight, right.
meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
Mr. Crova?
I'd like to make a motion to approve SPR 2023-021. It's a conditional approval, and it has to include the comments that were mentioned here during the meeting, the traffic impact study, comments that were mentioned about the enclosure, and then the OHM comments in the report.
Support.
If you could just change it to say, instead of just the OHM report, all reports.
All reports.
submitted.
Okay,
All
yep.
all reports submitted from,
Right,
we
because if
call it
there's
the ARC
anything in the-
committee, the administrative review committee, and that's
Right.
picking up everybody's fires,
Fire, whoever, yes.
buildings, planning,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep, I'd like to include that, the ARC committee, all
Yep,
all
ARC
reports in
committee.
the ARC
That'll
committee.
catch it all.
Support.
Okay. Let's see if I can get this now. Okay. Approval of site plan, SPR 023021 for sheets 2. This is for the site plan. Subject to
Subject to all the comments
all the comments
of the
discussed,
ARC committee reports,
the Arts Committee reports,
and including
and including all of the other,
planning commission
Planning-
discussion this evening.
okay,
or
whatever
planning
she said.
commission discussion.
Yep.
Support.
Smart, yes, I know. Any discussion? Okay, here we go. Mr. Crova?
Yes?
Mr. Bobolade?
Yes.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Gladfeldy?
Yes.
Mr. Frederick?
Yes.
Mr. McInally?
Yes.
Ms. Jamison?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. No, that's a conditional. plan,
Conditional
right?
approval, right.
Conditional approval, right, okay.
Subject to administrative review.
Pardon me?
Subject to administrative review.
Oh, subject to
Coming back.
administrative review, right.
Thank you all very much for your time tonight. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck with your project.
You're going back to Ohio tonight?
I'm staying up.
You're staying up?
I'm here in Conference, so.
Oh. Well, whoever's going back, have a safe trip if you're going back tonight. moving right along. Exactly. We had to make up a road. We're gonna have to say something about that. Okay. What's this next? Okay. Okay, moving right along to new business, we have SPR 2023010, A1 Sing Trucking. And the petitioner is here. Would you like to give us your name and address for the record?
Yes, good evening. David Gasson with Partners in Architecture. It's great to be here with you tonight. We're going to give you a brief presentation of the A1 trucking and airport cars. Mark Alsobrook here is also the project leader planner for the project. So he's going to give you a presentation. I just want to give a real simple overview of what we're trying to do. One, we're looking to improve the property, and in doing that, the operation, maybe more importantly, to address some non-compliance operational issues that have been going on. We're also going through a process of working with the planning administration to allow this to a point where we're here. So we're looking for your consideration and your approval so we can kind of move forward and like I said, bring the compliance into the site and choose better the property and its operations. I'll turn that over to Mark to do the walkthrough presentation.
Okay. Do we have your name and address for the record, please?
Yes, Mark Alsobrooks, Partners in Architecture, 65 Market Street.
Thank you.
So here we have an introduction to the site, so existing site right there, kind of an aerial off of Inkster Road, right there, 12900. So this is, obviously a lot of information that was included in our submission, our site plan submission, but to kind of just hone in on the main parts from the beginning. So the existing zoning is M1 light industrial, and our uses on the site, we have two different uses. One is the A1 airport cars, which is a transportation dispatching for the airport to bring people back and forth from their cars to the airport. And then the second use is now going to be the proposed A1 trucking, which is a small truck distribution center where they will park there and then transporting their materials throughout the city as they need. So our existing site conditions we have here are site survey. So right now, really the only thing on the site, there is at the bottom, in the southeast corner, there's an existing building that used to be a house at one point. It is now currently used as an office for the A1 airport cars. There's a asphalt paved driveway for that part of the site, which is used for the airport cars to come and go and to park in front there. At the middle of the site and to the northeast corner, there's currently a gravel driveway and gravel parking area that has a number of cars or trucks or vehicles or outdoor storage that we're planning on having removed, to be part of the CMN. So there's an aerial view of the existing site, kind of all that stuff in the middle there that's been addressed or been touched on, not allowed or that we're planning on removing. So there's a breakdown of the site kind of utilization as we plan. The A1 airport cars down there in the southeast corner, taking up
just under 2 acres, and then the proposed A1 trucking taking up 5 acres of the site. So kind of touching on some of that stuff that's being removed, that's currently on the site, all of that gravel, parking lot, drive, existing vehicles that are kind of stored out there, all that being removed, an existing shed that's out there, taking that out as well, keeping some of that stuff down in the southeast corner that's usable for the A1 airport cars, that works currently with their operations. So using that. And then you can kind of see there's some existing woodlands on the site, particularly to the west end that kind of wraps around. And there's some along the northern edge. So we're working with our engineer to keep as much of that woodland to the north as possible. A portion of it we'll have to remove for our parking lot, the way it's lined up and the way the screening we have. We want to keep obviously as much woodland as we can, and obviously if we need to replace any woodlands that is removed. So kind of jumping in, our proposed architectural plan there, you can see we have the main focus is that red square being a 9,000 square foot, 9,200 square foot maintenance building that would service the existing, it would service the trucks that the A1 airport cars would be using. They have 8 semi-tractor trailers, and then there's spaces for up to, I believe, 14 of the trailers to be parked and stored on the site. So that service building would fit 3 pull-through bays and 1 pull-in out bay, some tool storage, and then an office area for people who work there in the office to dispatch or maintenance staff. There'd also be some parking for staff on the eastern side of this new paving. We'd be pretty much using the current position of the entrance where the gravel drive is. We would be repaving that with asphalt, bringing that all the way back to the site, asphalt paving for the parking and the rest of the drive areas. Let's see. And then we'll be doing some detention, stormwater and all that at the back of the site to try and keep as much as we can and really not interfere with any of that woodland. So we're utilizing the open areas, the current open areas of the site as much as possible. So you can kind of see a little more landscape-wise now. With the use being trucking, we're incorporating a lot of screening, a dense evergreen screening around that storage area on the north end of the site, all 3 sides, so it won't be visible from the road, as well as including ample greenbelt space along Inkster Road, so that anybody driving along, it would be a pleasant view. Lots of different types of plants and flowers, all that kind of landscaping. And then also, as required, landscaping towards the back of the site around any of that detention that we have. Any existing, there was some trees removed previously with the owner removed that were not approved or they didn't go through the right process. So some of this planting, particularly the ones in between the detention and the proposed parking, are going to be installed there as replacements for those trees to kind of make up that number that we need to meet. And then, so working with a civil engineer on our team, we have some proposed utility plans, mainly being bring in domestic water from the Taylor side of Inkster Road to supply our building with whatever fresh water they need. And then currently we show a septic for the proposed building, and our civil engineer is working with the city of Taylor to locate where their sanitary line is. We believe there's a sanitary line there. They just weren't able to find information on where exactly their sanitary line runs. So assuming we can, find out where that is, we would switch from the septic field to a regular sanitary line. Stormwater-wise, we have some basins in our parking area that kind of just collect and take it out towards the west end where we have all those extensions graded out. And then looking at some of our site circulation, we've gone through, there's always a lot of different vehicles kind of using the site. One of the big ones being the emergency vehicles, so we plugged in the information given by the fire department for the turning radius and requirements for those emergency vehicles. And because a lot of the tractor trailers that are driving the site, there shouldn't be any issue with an emergency, a fire truck being able to make access point to anything around the building or any point on the site. They should be able to make their way in and out. And then site circulation, so this has got vehicles entering, so you can see that tractor trailer pulling in, making its way all the way around the building, and then pulling into one of those spots, as well as regular sized cars for the A1 cars being able to pull into that existing driveway that's on the southeast corner. Vehicles leaving, so you can see tractor trailer pulling out from the very top corner, being one of the more restricted spots, one of the more difficult areas for to make that tight turn, being able to turn out and turn onto the road, as well as cars leaving the A1 airport cars down in the south of the site, making their way out the site as well. And then just lastly, kind of showing how they could pull in and out of the different service bays if needed. Those south bays would really only be used for the actual tractor trailers to prepare. They don't need to pull the trailer through all the way in terms of how they would do maintenance on brakes or whatnot on the rear of the trailer. And then just kind of looking at our floor plans of that building, so you can kind of see rotated north to the right. You got the three main bays going from front to back of the building, and then off to one side you have that's staff and that support space where there's a bathroom, office, and tool storage and supplies, as well as there's a staircase up to a mezzanine that just provides you with some more tool storage, more storage of maintenance parts and whatnot. Looking at elevations, pretty straightforward. On the north and south end of the building, you're going to have on the south end you'll have 4 large overhead doors, and the north end you'll have 3, some windows, particularly on the west elevation, as well as some on the east for the staff. And then on that northeast corner, the closest towards the road and the closest towards the entrance of the site, you'll have a A1 trucking signage kind of scaled to the point where you'll be able to see it from the road driving by. And then just kind of looking at type of material that we'd be using for our building. It would be mainly, it's a maintenance building for these trucks, so metal panel, but in a decorative sense. You got color to pick from, something that fits into the site. You got landscaping, lots of green space, lots of ability to play with the different colors. So yeah, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any, Mr. McAnally?
Looking through the submission, do you think your site plan is ready for approval tonight?
Based on our comments that we've been working with the city and as well as our review, we believe that we can reach a conditional approval in order to kind of pick up some of those comments.
What we see, we have general comments, we have 23 of those. We have under water and sewer, we have 6 comments under there. Stormwater management, we have another 8. We have 12 under paving. Then we have landscaping, we have 14. And we have no idea how many of these have been addressed, if any of them have been addressed. So it's awful hard for us to go ahead and say, oh, yeah, you're fine. At this point, I don't feel comfortable voting for this. I'd much rather postpone it until we get something back that we at least feel somewhat confident that is right.
But, do have that on.
Did you have a comment,
Were you
Karen?
able to, I know I'd mentioned to you earlier about possibly having the engineer here tonight to answer some of these engineering questions, to see if they've been resolved. Where are we at with that?
Yes, so our engineer, he wasn't able to make it, but I've met with them, talked with them about some of those things. Mainly we'll pick the Class A road on Inkster. We've talked to Wayne County, let us know that they have approved this in the past for very similar uses. So he's right now providing some of the weights of vehicles and the frequency so they can get out of site. They kind of just get the final approval from Wayne County. So
Okay, so but it's been, they've talked to Wayne County and things are in motion there?
Yes.
So when would you be able to submit, or would the engineers, whoever's submitting it, property owner, submit the application for a variance?
That hopefully within, I can't speak exactly to know when we have that approval, but want to have it as soon as possible.
Yep, we were kind of hoping that they could start here. Some of this is, there's timeframes on this with a temporary C of O that expires in April.
Yes.
So part of the court condition was to have this going, so we're trying our best to keep it moving along. And we wanted to come to you first before the variance, of course, and, with the hopes that we would, be able to get these turned, you guys weigh in on it, your thoughts on it, and be able to get these plans turned and either get a conditional approval or come back to you once it gets cleaned up.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Gladfetter?
I'd like to speak. I'll be honest with you, I'm not happy with this project on Inkster Road at all. Class B is Class B. That's not going to change in my lifetime. I'd like to see your project, but in some other part of the city. I'm not pleased with it. Inkster Road is crumbling as we speak because of a lot of illegal trucks up and down that road. I'm very familiar with the weights. And unless that truck is empty, it don't belong on Inkster Road. And right there at Inkster North Line is a problem every day I travel that way. The traffic backs up all the way north up to Brest Road on the Taylor side. There's not really a right-hand turn there at North Line Road, nor there probably never will be. I'd like to see us succeed in business, but I don't think this is the place for the building.
Thank you. Just to touch on that, yeah, we definitely want to make sure, we're doing things the right way, taking the proper approvals. We don't want to force anything through. I know that Inkster Road is listed on the future land use as one of the roads to be upgraded to Class A. Now, obviously, we don't know when specifically that will happen. Hopefully, that would be in the nearest future. Yes.
I hear where you're coming from, but I don't believe we're ever going to see it. It's a mess now, and it's not getting any better.
Through the chair. Jessica from OHM, do you want to provide any additional commentary based on your report? I mean, like I just stated, it's a laundry list. Is there any more you would like to add?
There are a few items that are above and beyond just cleanup items that I can point out, and there are items that I do feel like we can work through, but they certainly do change some of the concept that was submitted. One of the major ones is the location of the master plan right-of-way and how it's been depicted and the measurements of the setbacks based on that master plan right-of-way. That will change the location of the landscape berms, the sidewalks, and none of the structures fall within any setbacks that will be affected by that, but again, everything just is not accurate on the plans based on that. The Wayne County Permit Office will have jurisdiction over the Inkster Road corridor and the ability for this site to get a permit to use the road, even though it's a Class B road. And they will also have jurisdiction over the Lang Drain, which is within the site. The replacement of the culvert will be something that Wayne County will look at, and we highly suggest that conversations start now. We know that the county has had a lot of commentary in regards to enclosing or even replacing and enclosing drains. Let's see, the waivers, we were able to support the waivers based on a traffic pattern going to the north. We did not want any of the traffic going to the south. We do recommend that a one-way circulation for the trucks be implemented around the building. So coming in, going to the south, and then circulating around to the north of the building. So the applicant could comment on whether or not that's agreeable to the property owner. That's a sidewalk. The landscaping, the calculations that we have checked do appear to, or I'm sorry, rather do not appear to adhere to the 50% if the applicant does not choose to meet the facade requirements in 1302. So that again would have to be redone, or the architecture would have to be redone on the building. Again, with irrigation, or again with landscaping, noting whether or not irrigation was planned for. And those are the major items. A lot of these items can be cleaned up, and I don't think that they will necessarily change most of the concept, but there's quite a few things that need to be taken care of in the site plan.
So in other words, there's still a lot that needs to be done.
Basically, what I see here is we don't have an adequate site plan to even think about approving. I mean, they could actually just take their site plan and take all of these items and go one by one and add them to their site plan.
Right.
So based on what I see here, there's no way that I would, in good conscience, be able to approve this site plan because there's too much missing.
To follow on it, Madam Chairman, if, we have up to 60 days, do what you can to make things better. Make a concerted effort to improve the site plan, and then get it back to us, and let's see what we can do. I certainly don't want to deny you and have to
Right.
start over, but I can't vote for this.
Not the site plan the way it is right now. There's just too many variables that are not on the site plan, that need to be on the site plan. Just about every department, every item, there are, and some of them are rather minor, some of them just that you have to list this and you have to list that. But we have to have them on a site plan to see where those things are going to be, how they're going to be applied and so forth. We just can't look at that and say, okay, well, it looks like you're going to put this here, and it looks like you might put this over here. We need a more complete site plan. That's how I feel.
Through the chair, I have a question for Carol. So on the second page of your report, down at the bottom for zoning and use, it says the existing residence will be used as an office and dispatch and resident security guard caretaker for both businesses. So somebody's going to be living there?
Well, there's nobody living there now. So basically, walking into this, there was enforcement's going on the property. We've had meetings and got the owner and the developer to the table, and we're trying to clean the site up and make it a working area, you know what I mean? So it can be a use that can be approved, so they've done a lot of cleanup. They've had inspections done on the buildings as they sit now, and got all the safety concerns and everything taken care of. And right now, there's nobody living in the house, but they're using the one as an office, but it's not an open to the public office. But there could be somebody living. There's basically the way that building sits, it's separated where there's one room that's like an office room, and then there's another entrance to where, and it's basically like a house right now.
Because I know in the past, we've told people that under no circumstances can the current house be occupied.
Right. There's a provision in the ordinance, it's referenced to the section 12.11B, and there are circumstances when a caretaker, security guard, something of that nature can be approved as part of a development at the discretion of the building official. So,
Gotcha. And that would be a 24 operation also? Or would it be limited hour operation? Like you say, like, the guy works 8 hours a day, then he's off. Or is it 24-hour security, which means he can never leave?
do you know the nature
No.
of what he's?
No, and I don't know the exact nature of that side of things. I just know that it would be, he could work, and then actually live in that house as a caregiver as well, just kind of overseeing the property.
Gotcha.
The hours operation, if I could answer your question, is 8 to 6 for the whole business operation. The security aspect of it is for the non-work hours. 8 to 6.
Gotcha. So when you say airport shuttle business, nobody would come there after 6 o'clock in the evening?
And those are not, that was one of the things that was a problem back, this all started in 2016, and when the property owner bought the property, it was this A1 airport cars, and it was actually the assessor's office that sent them over, saying, you better go talk to planning, that use isn't allowed out there, having rental cars and shuttle cars, where the public actually went there. So at the time, we didn't, we were started this enforcement process for all these years and never really knew what was there. It then developed more into a trucking company, so this dual use was there. We've since we have been, as Jeff says, we've been working with the property owner and starting to get some of this stuff resolved. And what we've discovered is that the shuttle service is basically just the cars. The people don't come there. It's the cars for the service, and then they work on the cars there, right? At the garage, they work on the cars and the trucks there. So there's no public there. So that falls into a category in the light industrial district. The taxi cab, shuttles, the dispatch, that kind of thing. And it's basically dispatching, offices and the storage and maintenance. So, but no public, but the public's not coming to the site to get the cars or any part of that. So.
Gotcha.
And it's not a very active transition from car being on site to leaving, 1 to 2 at a time, and that's about it. There's only 8 completed with.
Yeah, there's.
2 on site and 6, they go home and drive.
Yeah. There have been times that aerials show that there have been times when there's been 6 to 8 on the site, and certainly, we, as you guys know, you review things for, hopefully growth, and hopefully businesses are gonna take off and make it, and you hope that that maybe he wants more someday, or has the opportunity to have more of their space, and that's that kind of that area, that shared area. In between, with the parking spaces between the dispatch and the trucking area, but no, we wrote the recommendation to, again, we needed to get this here, to get this moving, to, move that variance forward. We didn't want to be taking anything to BZA without you guys seeing it first. Timeframe on the C of O. I did talk to the city attorney about that, in terms of the best way to handle it with the timing, and he did recommend, this wording in here, that you could require that the resubmittal be within 60 days. That would coincide with the temporary certificate of occupancy. That would put it, a couple months from now, that would give Jeff, if the plan didn't come back in, we're hoping that doesn't happen, hoping you guys can get this all done and cleaned up quick, that he could then, not renew, he could revoke that TCO come April when it expires, so.
But, if I may follow, if we were seeing progress, we're just on the finish line, is there an option to give a little more time?
Yes.
There is, yes.
Gives him
If we're seeing progress, and that's basically where the TCO came from the beginning.
So it's incumbent to you to
Yes.
get moving.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so,
We, if I may, Chair, obviously, we appreciate the comments, and we anticipated some of what we heard. Like Joe said earlier, we really want to move this forward. We've been working with the owner, and he has been very anxious to do the right thing. We've done 3 completely different concepts to this point, trying to find the right solution. Some of it has been short of impossible or acceptable. But we got to a point where I think the concept is lacking some detail, obviously, as you pointed out, and some crossing T's, dotting I's. And we're prepared to respond and get that back to you in the shape that's good for the owner, good for the city, and certainly hopefully approval about you. But we got to start somewhere. We got the comments Thursday, Friday last week. We couldn't respond to all of them. We made some advancements, but not in the documents, but in answers. So I'd say that if the 60-day turnaround time is what you're aiming for, we're certainly going to be ready within that window to come back with an appropriate, complete submittal so you can get your judgment on it.
So basically, based on that, a motion would be in order to postpone, correct?
Or table, I don't know how that works.
It's postponed.
Postpone, you don't want table, you want to postpone.
Madam Chairman.
Go ahead.
Madam Chairman, based on the comments above and all the other department and agencies, I make the motion that we postpone SPR 2023-10, A1 Sing Trucking, A1 Sing Airport Cars, back to the applicant to revise and resubmit. The Planning Commission will expect resubmittal or reapplication back to us within 60 days, coincide with the temporary C of O, which expires in April 2024.
Okay.
Support.
Support? Okay. I have a motion for Mr. McAnally, supported by Mr. Frederick, to, based on the comments of the other departments and agencies and discussion tonight, we are going to postpone SPR 2023-010, A1 Sing Trucking, A1 Sing Airport Cars, referring it back to the applicant to revise and resubmit. And let's see, then we're going to require resubmittal within 60 days to coincide with the temporary certificate of occupancy, which expires in early April 2024.
Up to 60 days.
Right. Within 60 hours.
I said within 60 days.
Right.
Within 60 days.
That's what I said, I thought.
Yep.
No, I just want to make sure we clarify.
Right.
You come back in 30 if you get it done.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
just.
come back in 30 would be nice. Get this
Yeah, we don't
out.
say yes to wait for 60 days. Okay, Mr. McAnally.
Yes.
Mr. Frederick?
Yes.
Mr. Godfelte?
Yes.
Ms. Jamison?
I have a comment for clarity.
Pardon me?
I have a comment for clarity. It says
Okay.
9,200 square feet, but OHM has 8,200 square feet. Could you clarify which one that actually is?
The documents referenced both, both dimensions, so I'm not actually sure which one is the correct one without looking back. Do you?
Yes, I can clarify.
Okay.
8,200 square feet is for the ground floor. If you add mezzanine, 1,000 square feet, you get 9,200. I believe that's what the discrepancy
Okay.
was.
So, Ms. Jamison, did you say?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Bobade?
Yes.
Mr. Crova?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. It is postponed. Good luck, gentlemen. Sure, no. We, get it cleaned up and, we welcome business to Romulus.
Madam Chair, I do have one question in regards to, are you leasing this property or are you?
This is,
I think it's owned.
He owns it.
Yeah,
These, yeah.
So,
The owner's not here.
These are
So
the
you're
architects.
representing-
Yeah, the
okay.
owner's not here.
yeah,
But it's, the businesses are, both businesses
Mr.
are
Singh.
the property
Are
owners.
the property owners, yes.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I need to be excused. Thank you.
yes, go right ahead. 4 o'clock comes early. Okay, let's see. Moving right along. Oh, here we are. Had to put in where it was. Alrighty, we have, under item C, we have the 2023 Planning Commission end-of-year report. Now, we have to approve this, correct?
Yep. Basically, you have to accept it. You
Pardon me?
really accept it. I think
That's what I mean, we have to
the wording in
accept it,
the
yes.
Enabling legislation.
Anybody have any questions on the report?
Sound look good.
If not, I just need a motion to approve.
Madam Chair, I'll make the motion to approve the 2023 Planning Commission Annual Report.
Support.
I have a motion from Mr. McAnally, supported by Mr. Boboade, to approve the 2023 Planning Commission Annual Report. Any discussion? Mr. McAnally.
Yes.
Mr. Boboade.
Yes.
Mr. Crova.
Yes.
Mr. Long.
Yes.
Mr. Frederick.
Yes.
Ms. Jamison.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, we approved it. Next, we have our 2024 Planning Commission meeting dates, and everyone received a copy of those. Any discussion on those? If not, a motion is in order.
Motion to accept the 2024 calendar for Planning Commission meetings.
Support?
Motion from Mr. McAnally, supported by Mr. Frederick, to approve the Planning Commission meeting for 2024. Mr. McAnally?
Yes.
Mr. Frederick?
Yes.
Ms. Jamison?
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Gladfeldy? Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Crova?
Yes.
Mr. Bobade?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, our meeting dates are approved. And then we have PC cases involving advice or input from the Planning Commission.
We have too many cases we need advice on, but.
The advice would be to, like,
It's,
I would just like to add, there's a lot of sites, like I appreciate you guys' input on the A1 Sing Trucking. We have a lot of sites that are not in use, or they've overexpanded, or they're not in compliance. So there will be, we will see more like this one as we're working on them. When we get them to the table, which they got to the table through enforcement, we got them to the table, started having meetings, discussions, got some cleanup done, started moving in the right direction.
Right.
And trying to keep that progress going so we don't, lose touch with them again. So I appreciate your comments, and I know that plan was not the cleanest, but it's good input for them to come, so they're at least moving forward and hear from you guys. So
Right,
I
right.
appreciate that.
sure.
And there will be more like that
Bring 'em up.
coming, because we're working on quite a few more that are in that same circumstance.
I'm good. Through the chair, question, Carol, Motown Sports Group. That
So the
looks
latest-
very interesting.
Latest update on that is they did pay for their review fee, but we have not had a submittal yet.
Okay.
So I know their timelines previously that they talked about were, I believe, I don't know them off the top of my head, but I think it was an April timeline. But they did pay the fees for it, and we're anticipating a submittal, but I can't tell you when that'll happen.
Okay. That's,
All right.
that's what I got.
Any other input that you need?
nope.
I do have a question, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
On the reoccupancies, I don't see Rise Church on here. Are they in that process, or?
They haven't submitted it. They've submitted the city.
So
cert.
they've just pulled their permits. They were approved, they got their building permit, and I believe they're getting their plumbing permit. The plumber's gonna review it tomorrow, but everything's been approved, but they have not done their, they haven't submitted their reoccupancy yet, but we have been in talks with them, and that project is moving forward. I know, they're doing the renovations, and part of it was occupant load and parking, and they're gonna start with a certain amount of occupant load and then grow from there as they expand on the parking. So we've got all the clarity on that, and I just talked to the contractor yesterday, and came and picked up the building permit, and they're moving forward.
At one point, I worked with him on the parking expansion, and he was going to come in with it all at once. In that case, would negate the actual reoccupancy zoning compliance, as we call it. It would have been part of another process. We didn't want to double them up. So, but now that it is, he does want occupancy
Yes.
without the parking expansion, so he'll need to submit that then.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's see, so no more, you don't need any more advice from us?
Just a quick question.
Sure, go ahead.
Through the chair, Carol. Petrula Properties on Beverly there.
So did you just hear that little mention that Jeff had about some
But-
of these sites that you might be seeing?
But I remember the biggest thing was that bridge, the culvert over.
Yep, and they have, so we've actually, same type of circumstance as the previous one. They have been making some progress as far as inspections into the buildings. They're getting a site plan prepared. They have submitted to the county about the culverts and the drain. We haven't gotten anything back from the county yet. There's a building on that they also had to vacate some roads in the back of the property, which they
Right.
did. They did that as well, and now they have to come in with a site plan, which I know they have an engineer working on it. They have not submitted it yet. They're waiting on the Wayne County response for the culverts on how that's gonna work, that were put in. And and they have a building there that had burned down that I know that they're wanting to rebuild. And this process basically is, let's get everything in order before we permit a building to go back up. And they've been working on that. They've been at the table for probably about 3 or 4 months, and we're trying to move that whole site forward and get it into compliance.
Because past experience with that one was one of the more interesting
Right.
situations that we crossed.
That culvert
Okay.
has been an issue for, forever, and they keep
Well,
trying to
and we
tell
had-
us.
and
That's on the other side of the road that you're thinking of.
Oh, the
This is
culvert's
on
the other
south
side? Oh, he's
the
talking about the
bridge-
other
the
side.
bridge
Yeah.
put in by,
They're talking about Charger
and that
on
is.
the north side, which
Central
that's a
not his
violation
property?
as well.
No, I'm talking, that's Petrola's, isn't it?
Well, he's got the north and the south
Yeah.
side. which
Okay,
all
gotcha.
Oh, you're talking about
enforcement's
the bridge that's Central Transport.
on. No, this is Petrola's stuff back on the
Because
south. I don't know that he put
It
did he
was
put a culvert in
Falcon.
on the south side?
You put culverts on both sides.
Yeah, and then there's Central.
Yeah, there's
Transport's
culverts
Oh,
on both
that-
sides.
Oh, that's
It's
all
theirs.
across the street, Charger.
Yeah, well, it used to be Falcon, and it was Charger.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
Right, yeah.
talking about like where Bright Sky
Right.
is, across the street is what I was just explaining.
Okay, sorry, I thought that's.
So
what
we
were
are
talking
moving, and with those, we're trying to move
Yeah.
property to property on that owner's sites.
about. Good luck.
That's going to be our perma job.
So you will have a meeting next month. It's likely you're going to have 3 gas stations on the agenda.
3
What do you
gas
think
stations?
Is Quick Trip going to make it?
Oh, I know, she told me.
Quick Trip at Eureka and Warman.
and
Maverick,
Goddard,
which used to
too.
be Come and Go at E-Course in Middle Belt, and
Vining and Goddard.
Safeway will be at.
Safeway at Middle Belt.
Yeah, it's,
Which one in Middlebelt?
Safeway, it's on airport property, just south of Lucas.
Oh,
Lucas
okay.
Drive, it's the one we had the public hearing scheduled for, but then they wanted it postponed. So they are
Yeah.
trying to submit as we speak, actually. They got a little bit of stuff over there, having trouble getting all their stuff.
Don't we already have a gas station down there on airport property that we approved, site plan? There's something on airport property.
I think that was a variance to allow drive-through
Right.
restaurants.
Yes, it was an ordinance
It wasn't
amendment,
a
which
Right.
that's
plan.
when, the city council, actually, when it went to them, had quite a bit of discussion on gas stations and Middle Belt Road, and so that one's gonna probably, be one to discuss, or have a lot of discussion.
So at the rate we're going, we're going to have 4 gas stations on every corner.
Yeah, trucks and gas stations.
say, Carol, what about the station at Goddard and Vining?
That's a pilot travel center. They are getting
Right,
very
yeah,
close to
pilot.
submitting as well. I don't think they'll make it for February, since they're not in yet, but you'll probably see them in March.
Where at Goddard?
Right in that triangular
The
piece
triangle
on the
there.
west side of the road.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't the railroad,
Where
Yep,
DST was?
yep, right next to them.
doesn't the railroad company own that, some of that
The back,
parcel?
Yep, at the northern side. Mhm.
Right, yeah. That should be
Yeah.
interesting.
I thought we said we were tired of trucks.
Well, I gotta put them someplace, so this will
Yeah.
at least be a nice site to put them on. Hoping to get some good food. So
Any other
that's
questions
been
or
the one
comments?
nice thing about these, Mr. McAnally and I were talking a little bit about it yesterday, that these new ones coming in, these convenience, we call them these C-stores, but as you saw tonight with Sheets, they offer a lot more, they're a lot bigger, they've got a lot more food in them, and, that can provide a lot of grab and go and just food for, our people passing through and picking up something on the way home from work, and
But then we have also a lot of them that are nothing more than go in and dumpy little, grab a pop out of the cooler and leave. We'd like to get the high end every
yeah,
time.
well, they're bigger.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
just by the sheer square footage of these things, they're bigger, there's area to sit down, like he was talking, there's area to sit in, kind of the coffee shop kind of vibe where you can sit and do some work in there, and
No, what we saw tonight was very nice.
The city of Milan put a pilot in down there on 23 and Plank Road. That's the newest one I know in the vicinity.
Yeah.
23 in Plank?
Yeah. Used to be
Oh, yeah,
Moore,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
What I found interesting is I believe Sheets got rejected, I think, I don't know if it was Livonia or where it was.
Ferndale or Fraser?
It was somewhere.
One of the F communities up there, it was either Ferndale or Fraser, it might have been Fraser.
Yeah, I couldn't, but they just out and out said no.
Interesting.
Well, it's our gain. The loss is our gain.
I do have one more question. What about the intersection of Ecorse and Wayne? Any update on that?
It's the latest.
I think there's gonna be an update coming really soon. I don't know exactly when it's gonna open, because I know there was some discussion about it earlier today with Roberto and the mayor that we had, and I don't know exactly the ins and outs of everything, but we're expecting an update very soon.
Well, I thought it was open, I thought I saw posts.
Well, it was kind of open, but then there was discussion that like some of the road closed signs were just kind of laid down and the snow hit it, and, they're just trying to get clarity on.
It is open north-south for Wayne, but E-course is not fully open.
Okay, that
Oh,
makes
it's
sense.
open, not south?
North-south it's open, but E-course eastbound is not open.
Okay, well, that's good. I'm gonna try that.
I just drove through it.
Oh, perfect.
Good to know.
I've never in my life seen anything like that. Something taking this long. I mean, just do it, get it done.
What was the first problem they found?
What about Wick Road?
Down
It's
there,
open.
I mean, just started from one thing to another.
That's a lift.
Anyhow, any other questions or comments? Well, I think we should go ahead and wrap this little puppy up.
So move, Madam Chair, move to adjourn.
Support.
Sorry?
I said, so move, Madam Chair, move to adjourn.
Support.
Okay, I have a motion for Mr., excuse me, Mr. Long, supported by Ms. Jamison, to adjourn. Mr. Long.
Yes.
Ms. Jamison.
Yes.
Mr. Frederick.
Yes.
Mr. Bowade.
Yes.
Mr. McAnally.
Yes.
Mr. Crova.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, this meeting stands adjourned.